this year we would have agreeing to this occasion and motivation to all participants of the festival. We call it a festival because especially in India, people connect more emotion of festivals, and certainly we want to raise the status of science, singing things, which reminds me that I should cut my own talk a bit short. I am very thankful to all the ministers for being part of this. And of course, I welcome Professor Laura and discussions about how we work together. And this is over 50 countries very strongly in science and technology, very special bond, because many of the challenges and opportunities it's very clear that everything that we do, everything they do, if we were to share that, then this would bring. I welcome our senior scientists, technologists, and delegates who are trying from various parts of India. Science Festival is to help the youth develop 21st century skills with a focus on scientific knowledge. In fact, yesterday, Honorable Minister inaugurated an exhibition which is happening in another part of Canada. This is about the telescope, for example, about sun, and these are huge, really, really big projects. These are multinational, of course. So why that? By working together, I think possible for a single country, for a single community of scientists.
Launching this initiative in 2015 and continuing up to now, and I do hope that the border of this festival will cross the whole region and as well as in the world. And we are delighted and interested to encourage our scientists and technology people from Afghanistan to come and share their thoughts and views under this platform with our colleagues from the region as well as in the world here. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share a brief information about the human resources development in Afghanistan and higher education, particularly the part of the role of higher education in that. Since 2002, after the establishment of the new government, we have started the development. We had 6 higher education institutions, and now we have 38 in the public sector. In the private sector, we had no higher education institutions, and now we have 131. So totally 170 higher education institutions is a big number for a country like Afghanistan, which has spent almost 4 decades in war and conflict. The number of students from 25,000 in 2002 reached to 400,000 in 2019 is another great success, with the participation of 30% female students in that. However, the problem which we have is the quality of higher education which our institutions are providing. So for the improvement of that, we have set up a series of priorities to align the skills which our graduates has with the need which is need in the demand which market has. The first thing which we have focused is the revising and development of our curricula based on the current need of the market. That one is going very successful. The second one is the capacity building of our faculty members, professors, and to master and as well as PhD level. So it's a right place to thank all of the friendly countries which is supporting Afghanistan in this process, and particularly India, which is contributing a huge number of scholarships to Afghanistan human resources development. 1,000 scholarships per year. It is a great support, and I'm thankful for this support of the people and government of India. other part which we are looking is that the quality assurance and accreditation process, we have started that almost 9 years back, and this year we could nationally award accreditation to 6 higher education institutions nationally, and they are now part of the Asia Pacific Quality Assurance Framework Network, and we do hope that we will be receiving the accreditation regionally and then internationally. So coming to the point of today's conference, from in Afghanistan, the science and technology part is also part of Ministry of Higher Education, and we are very much interested to collaborate under this platform with India and as well as other countries in the region, particularly the SAARC countries, and as well as with the world. So once again, I would like to congratulate for this very important initiative of Ministry of Science and Technology of India, and I do hope to extend the border of this initiative to other countries as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Your Excellency, Dr. Harsh Vardhan, Minister of Science and Technology and Earth Science, Government of India. Your Excellency, Abdul Tawab Pakardai, Minister of Higher Education and Pakistan. Your Excellency, Malik Jamal, Minister of Communication, Science, Technology, Bangladesh. Your Excellency, Dr. Moon Ai, Minister of Social Affairs, Myanmar. Your Excellency, Choi Joing Ho, Deputy Chief of Mission, Embassy of Republic of Korea, India. Scientist, technologist, educationist, entrepreneurs, innovators, students, leaders, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to participate in this 5th India International Science Festival organized by Ministry of Science, Technology and Earth Science, Government of India and partners in this beautiful city of Kolkata. On this auspicious occasion, on behalf of Royal Government of Bhutan and on my own behalf, we would like to pay our deepest respect to one of the greatest scientists and Nobel laureates, late Sir C.V. Raman, on the occasion of his 131st birthday. Your Excellencies, leaders, ladies and gentlemen, as we take a moment to reflect upon the contribution of such great souls as Sir C.V. Raman, we are convinced of the benefit of science and technology. We are convinced that the benefits of such novel discovery as the Raman effect, for example, knows no geography, no politics, or has no boundaries. We get convinced that scientific endeavor done with devotion and perseverance benefits the entire humanity as well as cosmos. India's contribution to science, technology and innovation is so huge and awe-inspiring that one gathering such as this will not be enough to share about their contribution. It's great Aryabhat who invented zero, or the birdman of India, Sri Salim Ali, whether it is Sri Ramanujan, the great mathematicians, or Sri Abdul APJ Kalam and his pioneering work on development of India's missile and nuclear weapons program, whether it is the astrophysicist Sri Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, whose work on evolutionary stages of massive stars, or Sri Bose, who worked in collaboration with Sir Albert Einstein. The list is endless. India should be proud of its scientific achievements. And while I say this with pride and honesty, I also say this that India has a big role to play in scientific world as well as the world of the future. And thus you must not stay pleased with past laurels, but work hard to create a better world. You have such great gurus to guide you. You have role models who have lived with you, and thus learning is easier. This I say to young minds, that you live amongst scientific gurus, technological abundance, and innovative examples. So this is your chance. In this area, we learn from India. We are one of your best friends, sitting behind, encouraging you to go ahead and win, just as we did at the launch of Chandrayaan 2. While our young students came to India and prayed sitting in the hall with you. In Bhutan, we lit butter lamps and prayed for the success of it. We were equally dismayed by the close failure, but our spirit lit up knowing the immense possibility Chandrayaan 2 gives to space explorer. Bhutan's approach to development is through technology of mind. The inner engineering of souls, the scientific understanding of the world around us, and the sustainability of the society and community. These values are what makes up what is popularly known as gross national happiness paradigm development. This is an approach India can learn for the happiness and sustainability of your society. For we know even the greatest of minds and talents gets lost if the environment is not set right. Not the least, before I end, I would like to talk a bit about using science for benefit of the society as well as the cosmos. While we all are aware of the benefits science has given, let us also remind us of the immense harm that science and technology can do. Today, we say the world can be destroyed in a second with a pressing of a button. Today, whole communities can vanish in an hour of chemical weapons. Today, a son can kill his father because games like PUBG corrupts the young minds. Today, human and child trafficking transactions can happen in a matter of seconds without even knowing the buyers and sellers. Today, political and social turmoil can happen with just a click of a mouse. Therefore, my dear friends, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, it is in the hands and minds of scientists. It is in the hands and minds of the scientists and innovators like you to also think and design such technology and innovation that will benefit our societies and cosmos. In your hands lie the immense potential of either exploration and enlightenment, or destruction, desolation. Let us not forget this. I wish all of you a very happy and learning scientific exploration. Thank you and Kasdila.
The Minister of Science, Technology and Earth Science of India, Dr. Harsh Vardhan, my colleagues from neighboring ministers from neighboring countries, scientists distinguished, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. I never thought that Calcutta is this far from Maldives. We left yesterday evening at around 7 o'clock from Maldives and to Trivandrum, then to Delhi, and now here in the beautiful city of Kolkata. I feel like home. My brother, Honorary Consulate of Maldives is here. Thank you for the warm hospitality, Excellencies. Thank you for the warm hospitality for me and for our team. It's indeed a great honor to be here in the beautiful city of Kolkata talking about science and technology. I believe the National Science Festivals are indeed an expression of cultural importance of science and technology of a nation. All around us today, we witness this. The vibrance and the energy here at this festival is testament to the importance of science and technology in the Indian culture. It is clear evidence of strategic position of science and technology in the development agenda of Prime Minister Modi of India. India, the civilization that introduced the mathematical digit zero, one of the most important inventions of all the time, is now a space-faring nation. Charuk, the 18-year-old from Tamil Nadu, and his team of youngsters is a perfect example of this. They made history with Kalamsat, a 3D printed femto satellite, with 8 indigenous built-in sensors designed to demonstrate the performance of 3D printed carbon fiber. A true memorial to the spirit and life of former President Dr. A.P. Abdul Kalam. Excellencies, today we face the shared challenges of climate change and sustainable development. Global warming and subsequent changes in climate not only mean sea level rise, but also changes in the pattern of winds that bring monsoon in Asia. They are changing the pattern of rain and snow across the globe, making drought and unpredictable weather the new norm. Since ancient times, the Maldivian people have organized their lives around the calendar of we call Nakai, comprising a series of 13 or 14-day intervals, each with a predictable weather pattern. Every year brings 2 monsoons. We call it one Iruai, the northeast monsoon, and Bulangu, the southwest monsoon. This calendar used to determine the best times to fish, travel, or cultivate crops. But today, climate change and extreme weather is disrupting this. Excellencies, this is the new reality of life. This is the context in which we have to deliver development and prosperity to our people. The key to ensuring sustainable development in the face of climate change lies in energizing, mobilizing, and empowering youth with science, technology, and innovation. Youth dividend and empower them with STI today. In the Maldives, President Ibrahim Mosolih's government has set new targets to increase renewable energy in the national energy mix by 20% by 2023 as compared to 2018. Reduce fuel usage for electricity generation by 40 million liters and increase renewable energy storage capacity to 30 megawatt hours. The government's policy is that by 2023, all new public infrastructure projects shall have provision to install renewable energy and energy data is up to date and reliable and utilized for policy making. Excellencies, India has shown us that solar power need not be expensive. The costs of building large-scale solar installation in India fell by 27% in 2018. Year on year, thanks to the combination of low price, foreign and indigenous technology, abundant land and cheap labor. And average solar prices from these large-scale installations in India were less than a third of Canada's, according to World Economic Forum. Excellencies, under the new government's development agenda of Maldives, we are planning to establish the Maldives National Science Foundation to foster the culture of research and development. It will set the national research agenda and provide grants for research and development. We would like to get the assistance of Indian scientists in this endeavor. Enabling higher education institutions and the private sector towards research and development and drive the society from being consumers to creators is central to our policy in enabling the youth dividend in Maldives. To this end, our ministry will play a pivotal role in mainstreaming science, technology, engineering, mathematics in our formal and informal education system. In particular, we shall be establishing a national-level working group on women in science and technology. To ensure equitable and accelerated national development, we need to make sure that girls and women are empowered and take part in the national development. Parity in science and technology is not only vital for sustainable development, it is also a critical element for creating a flourishing culture of innovation. Excellencies, the work is changing. With the onset of the fourth industrial revolution, the skills required for tomorrow's economy is not the skills which we drove us to success in the 20th century. Work requiring manual dexterity, endurance, and precision, or acquiring memory, verbal, auditory, and spatial abilities are on the decline. While analytical thinking, innovation, and active learning skills are increasingly becoming more sought after, tomorrow's leaders will need creativity, originality, and initiative. We need to move away from technological installations, maintenance, technology use, monitoring, and control. We need to steer our young towards the local and global value chains with technology design and programming skills, critical thinking and analysis, and complex problem-solving skills. Excellencies, India has demonstrated time and time again that doing science and utilizing technology and innovation for development can be done in the developing world context. That youth can be inspired and empowered with STI to seek out a future of prosperity. Rifat Sharouf, the 18-year-old satellite developer, and many other youth creators from India and other parts of Asia attest to this. Festival is one of the best platforms towards creating a culture of STI, enable the youth dividend with 21st century skills, engage in public with science and celebrating the joy of science, His Excellency has just now mentioned. At a time when half of South Asia's youth are projected to leave school without the necessary skills for the 21st century, according to the latest UNESCO data, this initiative by India is timely and critical. We plan to emulate these good practices in the Maldives and look forward to working with India and regional partners in coming years to ensure that our youth are ready for the changing world. Finally, let me take a moment to thank the government and people of India, Prime Minister Modi, for their friendship and assistance to the Maldives. India has for many years been a keen and engaged partner in the Maldives national development. We look forward to further invigorate our friendship with India in developing science, technology and innovation towards the empowerment of Maldivian youth. Let me end my remarks by inviting India to Maldives. I would like to invite Indian tech companies to invest in the Maldives, a country with a GDP per capita of 12,000 with a very good economic growth. Once again, I would like to thank the Indian government, Honorable Minister, the Minister's team for inviting me and my delegation to the beautiful city of Kolkata, and I wish a very successful festival. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to be present here today on the significant occasion, namely India International Science Festival. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the Dr. Harsh Vardhan, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology and Art Science for hospitality and cordial reception. And have a happy and peaceful birthday to Dr. C.V. Raman, coincides with the event. Ladies and gentlemen, the new millennium has commenced, and with it, we have entered an enhanced phase in the relationship between our two great nations. We and Myanmar look forward to a relationship of partnership and of beneficial independence with India, supporting each other in our quest for peace, prosperity, and national development, drawing upon the strengths and resources, both human and material, of both our countries. Excellency, a new millennium brings new hope. The expectation that have cherished remains the same, for an improved quality of life for ourselves and coming generation, for a better society, better tomorrow. The economic enrichment of society encompasses basic issues such as education and technological development. In fact, in addressing national development, these issues critical importance. We are fortunate that today we have the strength of science and its application in these endeavors. We are lead technological advance and globalization. The globalization process has brought with it new opportunities as well as new challenges, particularly to the developing nations. We live in a world of increasing interdependence, growing economics, competition, and widening digital divide. In these times, no nation can stay alone and in isolation. To overcome these challenges, the developing nation must learn to cooperate with each other in the most effective and efficient way possible. As we all know, India is a scientifically and technologically developed nation. We have seen how the advance in technology improve the quality of life. Youth can get scientific knowledge, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, and teamwork through an IISF. We can share our youths in this international knowledge when we go back to country. This festival is very beneficial for empowered nations for continuous collaboration and coordination in science and technology. By attending this innovative platform, we can exchange our technological knowledge. As a conclusion, my special thanks are due to Dr. Harsh Vardhan for giving us the opportunity to attend this ceremony. We are convinced that this ceremony would contribute to the technical development in Myanmar and also it serves as a scientific unique platform for youth to inspire their curiosity. I am very proud to be very good neighbors with the deepest friendship. Thank you for your attention and your precious times.
Thank you for inviting Korea as a science partner country to this great event. I am very much I feel very happy that I am almost upgraded to ministerial level with all dignitary ministers of neighboring countries. I am also minister, but deputy chief of mission in Korean embassy in Delhi. My ministry is a little different, but it's, thank you very much to invite me as a representative of Korea to this wonderful event. His Excellency Harsh Vardhan, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Science, Professor Ashutoshi Sharma, Secretary of Department of Science and Technology, and SK Balshini, Advisor and Head of International Bilateral Cooperation, Department of Science and Technology, Honorable Ministers, and also Professor John Woodhead from UK, and dear participants, ladies and gentlemen. I share Korea's very condensed progress in science, availing this occasion with you. So my speech could make you little dull or sleepy before lunchtime, but it's as you like. Just I make my speech and hope you enjoy my speech and have at least one hint how Korea progressed in a short time. It is a great pleasure for me to join this gathering in India International Science Festival 2019 here in Kolkata, a city which holds special place in the hearts of Korean people. The greatest son of this soil, Nobel Prize winner Tagore, dedicated a poem way back in 1929, praising Korea as the lamp bearer of the East. Tagore is adored in Korea, and Koreans have a special sense of attachment to Calcutta. Let me first express my sincere thanks to the organizers. As you all know, South Korea is often cited as one of the most successful stories of economic development in recent history. I will say that Korea's economic rise is largely a result of its emphasis on the development of science and technology. Korea realized the importance of science and technology in the economic development of the country rather early. Being a resource-poor country, we had no option but to accord the importance to science and technology to drive industrial development. Science and technology research institutions and also invested significantly in R&D. We prioritized the STEM, science, technology, education, and mathematics education, and encouraged our talented students to enroll themselves for STEM subjects. Strong academic industry cooperation has also helped us in this mission. Ladies and gentlemen, the science and technology in Korea has advanced through distinct pace over time. It was in the late 1950s and through 60s that Korea began to lay foundation of science and technology in the country. The Korea government implemented the first 5-year technology promotion plan in 1962 to secure the scientists and the engineers needed for the industrial development and productivity improvement. In 1966, Korea Institute of Science and Technology, which is called the KIST, was established as the first government-funded research institute, and it has since become pioneer in science and technology research. In 1967, a new ministry, the Ministry of Science and Technology of Korea, was created to promote and coordinate scientific and technological activities in the country. A new act, Science and Technology Promotion Act, was also enacted to provide institutional support. It was though early years in our national development, but we still had some science and technology breakthroughs. For example, Kumseongsa, now LG Electronics, developed Korea's first vacuum tube radio, A501, in 1959. In 1970s, mainly devoted to the forming of a national science and technology ecosystem in the country, the Korea Advanced Institute of Science, KAIS, which is called KAIS, was established to foster human resource in science and technology. In 1973, the Pohang Steel Mill, or POSCO, the first integrated steel mill in Korea, was constructed by researchers of Korea Institute of Science and Technology, who gained the technology expertise through training in foreign country and indigenized the technology. In 1974, Korea began to relocate research institutes scattered across the country at Daedok Research Complex, a science park for mutual research synergy, which has now emerged as a global innovation center. In 1980s, Korea endeavored to drive technology and to further expand the national research and development systems. Major development in the period were the passing of Researches of a Basic Science Promotion Act in 1987 for basic research at universities and the institutions of Korea. In 1983, Samsung Electronics developed the world's third and Korea's first 64K DRAM, which was the first commercially viable semiconductor and led to build the semiconductor industry's growth. In the 1990s, Korea pursued a science and technology strategy to develop advanced technologies and to take its technological prowess beyond its national boundaries. In 1991, Korean government started a leading technology project, G7 project, to lift domestic science and technology to the level of 7 advanced countries by year 2001. A National Science and Technology Commission of Korea was inaugurated to coordinate the science and technology policy and administration at the national level, and also to comprehensively coordinate the use of science and technology budget for major sectors. During the period, Korea successfully commercialized CDMA, the digital mobile communication technology, and continued to develop mobile technologies such as Vibro, DMB, and LTE. Also, in this period, SK Chemical developed Korea's number one anti-cancer drug, Sumpla, thereby making Korea one of the few countries in the world to have developed anti-cancer drugs. During the 200, Korea's focus was to prepare national technology roadmap to acquire the core technology development capacity at the national level in preparation for future technology demand. This was the period which saw laudable technology achievement. In the year 2004, Korea opened its first high-speed rail service, the KTX, between Seoul and Busan, making it the first country in the world to launch high-speed rail service and the second country in Asia. In year 2005, Samsung Aerospace and Lockheed Martin of United States jointly developed the supersonic advanced trainer T-50 and exported it to the Indonesian Air Force in 2011. Korea became the sixth country in the world to export a supersonic aircraft. During the last 2 decades, Korea's focus has been to reinforce its leading position in science and technology through creativity and innovation. In year 2011, Korea commercialized the world's first 4G mobile communication system, which is called the LTE Advanced. In year 2012, Korea's Atomic Energy Research Institute developed the world's first all-in-one nuclear reactor, which is called the smart reactor. In year 2013, Samsung Electronics succeeded in mass producing the world's first 24-stage 3-dimensional Voinand flash memory that overcame the limitation of the density and speed of the existing 2-dimensional NAND flash memory. The first 5G mobile communication service in this year. Today, when the world is at the verge of a new technological breakthrough defined by AI, robotics, Internet of Things, which is IoT, and the big data and other new technologies, which will usher in fourth industrial revolution. Korea is poised to leverage its traditional strengths in technology to play a leading role in this new revolution. We are taking steps to strengthen the requisite ecosystem to harness full potential of the emerging technologies. The Korean government has announced Korea's ICT policy, that is I-Korea 40 policy, and also AI and R&D strategy to reap the benefit of the fourth industrial revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, you all will be curious to know how have Korea developed such expertise in science and technology in such a short time. I believe that constantly bold investment in science and technology and visionary and far-sighted leadership and establishment of R&D system and infrastructure tailored to the development of science and technology are some of the main factors which have contributed to rise of Korea as a science and technology power. Let me further elaborate. From very early on, Korean political leadership made a strategic decision to make a bold investment in science and technology. Before 1980, Korea government was the dominant source of R&D expenditure. Later, on R&D and innovation efforts were overtaken by big private technology companies. In 1960s, Korea's R&D expenditure was 0.25% of GDP, and the government share in the R&D expenditure accounted for 97% of total R&D expenditure. Public have continued increasing their investment on R&D, and in year 2017, Korea's R&D expenditure was 4.6% of the GDP, and the government share in the R&D expenditure was less than 25% of the total R&D, more than 75% coming from private sector. The Korea's R&D expenditure is almost double of the average R&D expenditure of other OECD countries, which is 2.3% of GDP. Moreover, it is more than 5 times of India's R&D expenditure, which stands at 0.85% of the GDP. This has helped Korea's companies to acquire state-of-the-art technology in areas of automobiles, electronics, ICT, shipbuilding, defense, manufacturing, and petrochemicals, to name a few. The Korean government has made all this possible through many years of focused and coordinated efforts. The able and far-sighted leadership in Korea recognized the importance of science and technology in the development of the country and backed it with decisive actions. Way back in the 14th century, the great Korean king, King Sejong, pursued the goal of agricultural rich country and the happy lives of people through science and technology. He established the Ganeide, which is a royal observatory. He developed many useful tools for farmers, like Jagyangnu, water clock, and also Honcheon-i, astronomical clock, and Cheogugi, a rain gauge. And he also published Nongsa-Jiksel, which he collected the indigenous farming technology of Korea. This is all our 14th century tradition, but this is all is still remaining. You can see when you visit Korea, there's this all the historical artifacts. You can find it. Yeah. In keeping with this spirit of King Sejong, the successive government of Korea emphasized the importance of science and technology in building a strong nation. The first president of Korea, President Lee, founded the Atomic Energy Research Institute in 1954. Another Korean president, Park Chung-hee, laid the foundation of a science and technology-led industrialization and economic development of Korea and declared in the message to the nation that all Koreans should make science a living in order to maintain the high growth of Korean economy. The third factor in our scientific and technological progress is the establishment of a research and development ecosystem in the country in line with the development of science and technology in the world. In the 1960s, the science and technology trend in Korea focused on the introduction of advanced countries' technologies, the development of strategic technology by government, and their transplantation into the industry. But today, there is emphasis on the R&D performance expansion, commercialization, new industries, and startups to secure a foundation for growth. And along with that, government-funded research institutes have also changed in its functioning and character. Initially, the role of government-funded research institute was to develop and directly supply the technology required by industry, but current role of them is to perform R&D commercialization and securing corporate support for R&D. The role of the universities have also shifted from training institution of science and scientists and engineers necessary for economic development in the 1960s to the research-oriented institutions in the 1990s and to the institutions for creative research promotion and entrepreneurship at present. Ladies and gentlemen, As you can see how Korea endeavored to put in place institutional and policy framework in our country over a period of time, which facilitated great development in science and technology, and also the factors that have contributed to advancement of science and technology. India too have proven leadership in the field of science and technology. It is particularly strong in IT, space, nuclear science, and traditional medicines. India has earned worldwide acclaim as IT powerhouse. Its software professionals are manning leading global technological firms and have helped Silicon Valley emerge as the world technological and innovation hub. India is a world power in space, having successfully launched lunar and Mars mission and all set to launch its first manned mission to space by year 2022. India is counted in the league of space giants like US and Russia. India also has a core competence in some areas of civil nuclear energy production. Of late, India's traditional medicine system, in particular Ayurveda, which is very popular in Korea is also gaining worldwide attention. Now turning to Korea-India bilateral cooperation, I see huge prospect for mutual cooperation in the field of science and technology, as our two countries have a complementary strengths in this field. For example, India is strong in software, Korea is in hardware. India excels in basic science. Korea is strong in commercialization of technologies. Korea specializes in nuclear power construction, while India has fuel cycle enrichment and reprocessing capabilities. Seoul is also keen to learn from India's successful space program. As you can see that our two countries are uniquely positioned to harness the potential of science and technology for mutual benefit of our two peoples. We already have made a modest beginning in science and technology cooperation. Our two countries are carrying on joint research in some designated areas. Korean companies have been focusing to build academic partnership with the technical institutions of India. There are many Indian science graduates who are pursuing their higher studies in Korea technical universities. Our two countries are establishing the Korea-India Future Strategy Group and the India-Korea Center for Research and Innovation Cooperation, which is IKCRI, to provide an institutional framework for cooperation based on research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. With such ongoing cooperation, I firmly believe our two countries are on course to harness the full potential of bilateral cooperation and reap mutual benefit for the prosperity of our two countries. With these remarks, I thank you all your kind attention. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And I'd like to start by thanking the Honourable Minister Harsh Vardhan, Secretary Sharma, Dr. Varshney and their colleagues at the Department of Science and Technology for their typical wonderful hospitality, as well as the opportunity to come and take part in this wonderful event. This, I must confess, is my first visit to Kolkata, and I couldn't have picked a better occasion to start my experience of West Bengal. It's an event that's brought together the most influential figures of science policy and diplomacy, and I think some of the most inspirational scientists and innovators in India and beyond. So, science. I'm just going to take a very brief moment to say how I look at this. Science is the way that we understand the world in which we live. And the scientific method, which is the process by which we develop science, is rooted in the principles of mathematics and philosophy and based upon evidence, proof and logic. And then that is all exposed to peer review. That is a process of international exposure to test the correctness of ideas. And that international aspect is central to the whole principle of science. We then move on to engineering and technology. Science understands our world. Engineering and technology is how we shape our world based upon science. And looking at opportunities to shape that world is innovation. And that's one of the things that is inextricably linked with science. Now I'm going to go on to tour around the festival today, and I fully expect to see young people enjoying the many activities this event has to offer. And that probably is the most important outcome that this event can seek to achieve. That a spark of enjoyment today lights the fire of enthusiasm, an idea or an ambition in each of those young minds that develops into either an educational choice, a career or a business, and sets them on the path to helping this massive human effort in science and innovation that has been so critical in improving the world in which we live. That those will return to this festival years from now and speak of their achievements in a lab or a startup which began with that experience today. As we all know, harnessing the best minds of the next generation in all of our countries is key to tackling the scientific and technological challenges of the future. And a solution to those challenges always starts with a good idea. Leading on to good solutions will only bring about wide-ranging and positive change if they can make the transition from a lab or a business plan into the marketplace or boardroom. Hundreds of thousands of young businesses in the UK, in India and in other countries are hungry for growth and capable of bringing brilliant ideas to market. However, only a few of them have all the resources, expertise, equipment, contacts and knowledge that they need to develop those ideas into new products, services and capabilities. And that's why in my country we've developed a network of 10 catapult centres up and down our country to bridge the gap between ambition businesses and the expertise of the UK's research communities. They span a range of disciplines and applications, from high-value manufacturing to precision medicine to satellite applications, transport systems, future cities and others. And the purpose of these centres is to reduce the risk of innovation and accelerate the rate of business development. And more importantly, this can also help save lives. Recently, a UK company with catapult support demonstrated and engineered a technique to replace human organs by grafting a patient's own cells into a donor organ in place of the donor organ cells. And it doesn't stop with dramatic instances like that. The UK's Future Leaders Fellowship Scheme allows highly talented individuals in the early stages of their career to dedicate their time to proactively tackle technological challenge, explore market opportunities and develop the know-how, processes and products that can service design. The UK has a research partnership with India which features cutting-edge interdisciplinary research managed through joint decision-making and currently involves over 200 individual projects with over 175 different UK and Indian research institutions and more than 100 industrial partners. The output of that, the co-publications, are more highly cited by the international community than the publications that come from either India or the UK on their own. International collaboration adds value. And that collaboration involving Indian and other international researchers working with UK academics are currently focused on the shared global challenges that we all wish to address. Things like access to energy, public health, water security and the impact of climate change on agriculture. Through the Newton Babar programme, for instance, Amit Kumar Jain's company Bison has developed a device that helps customers treat organic waste locally and generate energy from that waste. Newton Baba's Leaders in Innovation Fellowship gave Bison the resources to build an international profile and identify the private sector partners to take this waste-to-energy biotechnology company to a wider marketplace. The UK and Indian scientists are working together to reduce maternal deaths by 50% through the co-development and use of a novel, affordable device to manage hypertension and shock in pregnancy. And that's typical of the fact that the UK and India have a track record of bringing the finest minds and technology together to overcome our major global challenges. Both our countries, for instance, have made strong public commitments to tackle plastic pollution. Up to 90% of marine litter in the sea is made up of plastics originating from both land and sea-based sources. 10 million tonnes of plastic will go into our oceans this year. And without understanding where that plastic accumulates, our governments can't take effective action to clean coastlines and waterways. And the post-consumer plastics industry can't optimise collection. And our attempts to develop a circular economy are thwarted. And this is an example where a young British startup has forged effective links with Ellipsis Environmental, which is a technology-driven impact venture which provides analysis of environmental pollution using unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, as their key technology. And Ellie recently used this as part of the joint UK-India-Bangladesh Sea-to-Source exhibition, which brings together scientists and researchers from all three countries to study plastic pollution in some of the world's most iconic waterways, the Ganges River. By gathering aerial imagery from this expedition and processing it with unique algorithms developed by the mathematicians and scientists, they've been able to create heat maps of plastic waste. And that's helping us better understand this type of pollution and what are the right incentives to clean it up. The £38 million UK-India fast-track startup programme channels capital to innovative, technical-driven startups in sectors such as financial technologies, health tech, agri-tech, educational technologies and IP-driven manufacturing. The technical assistance provided through this scheme aims to support market-building activities and deepen the entrepreneurial and innovation connections between the science, technological and business communities. And just last week, the Indian Ministry of Electronics and IT Startup Hub signed a partnership agreement with Innovate UK, which is the UK's innovation agency. And this aims to connect early-stage Indian and British companies to exchange learning, nurture growth and propel innovative solutions into the marketplace, specifically to tackle global socio-economic challenges. The UK is keen to help support the best and brightest global talent, as well as opening up opportunities for future breakthroughs in science insight, technology applications and research. And that's why a new 2-year post-study work visa is being put in place that provides opportunities for talented students from the UK, from India and from other countries as well to build successful early-stage careers in the UK and to forge those connected links. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the threshold of the next phase of our technological age. We're faced with challenges, some of which we know and which we're only starting to understand the scale of, some of which we cannot yet predict. And we shall have at our disposal science that presently we probably cannot foresee or maybe even believe impossible. But it is our duty as the decision makers in our respective countries to unlock the possibilities and the flow of people and ideas that make that science and technology the best it can possibly be. To take steps to invest in the technologies that will improve lives and create the means to make those life and world-changing ideas into commercial successes. The UK has a track record of science and innovation excellence, as does India, and the UK stands ready to continue to work with India as a global force for good today and in the years to come. So this event is a wonderful opportunity. I commend the Government of India for its efforts in putting it on, and thank you very much for your attention.
Bala Karzai, Minister of Higher Education, Afghanistan. Honorable Mr. Jaibir Rai, Minister of Education, Bhutan. Honorable Mr. Mali Jamal, Minister of Communications, Science and Technology, Maldives. Honorable Dr. Khin Maung Aya, Minister of Social Affairs, Myanmar. Professor Lawhead, Chief Scientific Advisor, Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, UK. Mr. Cho Jong Ho, Deputy Chief of Mission, Embassy of Republic of Korea, India. Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary DST. Dr. Varshney, distinguished scientists, technologists, diplomats, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first of all, let me thank all of you for coming and gracing this very important festival for us. And I think for us, nothing could have been better than on the first day we have so many distinguished ministers from our neighboring countries, and of course our chief scientific advisor from UK also participating and sharing with us their learned thoughts, their wisdom. And I must say that all the views expressed by them were very motivating, very thorough about what they are doing, what we should do, what our cooperation should be for, and what science should be doing for the people and this world. So I think each and every line that was spoken by all of you, that spoke volumes about the commitment of your respective governments for the field of science and technology. And by now we all have been able to appreciate, especially I can say that after having worked in science and technology for almost 5 years now, I am fully convinced that each and every problem that this planet faces, or the people living on this planet face, which they consider as big problems, everything can be solved with the help of science. It is only the vision and the approach and the strategy and the cooperation amongst various people, and of course what is required is synergy amongst everyone who are committed for science, who are knowledgeable about science, who know science. So that's why this international participation also makes so much of sense. In every festival we had the privilege to have at least a few ministers in the last 5 years. That everyone comes every year, but every year we find new ministers, new countries, and they all come with a lot of commitment. They spend a lot of time here. So I would also like that as you have yourself appreciated and remarked about the ancient wisdom of India's science and the talent of Indian scientific community. Calcutta, as we all know, is a science city of India, and it's known for its scientific institutions. So apart from the various activities that are going to happen in this India International Science Festival, we have almost 28 activities of different nature, which are right now also happening at different places, but which are going to be there for the next 4 days. And also we have many scientific institutions in this city. This city has produced some of the greatest and the most famous scientists of India, including the Nobel laureate C.V. Raman Sahab. So I would like you to be participating in each of these activities also, and also visit all these institutions, visit our science city and see for yourself the progress of science in India. So it's a very, very happy occasion for all of us here in this India International Science Festival. In fact, formally like to extend a very warm welcome on behalf of Government of India, and today itself in the afternoon at 4 o'clock sharp we'll have the blessings of our Honorable Prime Minister for this India International Science Festival. He shall be addressing to us from New Delhi, and it's going to be a very exhaustive address, so I would like all of you to be there in that activity also. And I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all of you sitting on the dais for your gracious presence in this IISF 2019, and in the in this special ministers and diplomat conclave. Your presence today reinforces our common belief that science is universal and it is not bounded by geopolitical boundaries of nations. India shares a common past and goal with many of its close neighbors and other partner countries that has served to forge an unbreakable bond with India. Today, while our countries celebrate the different facets of our vibrant relationship, bonded by mutual trust and friendship, we also need to harness the soft prowess of science and technology as an important pillar of our cooperation in the knowledge economy of the 21st century. It is universally acknowledged that science and technology are essential prerequisite for the progress of any nation. We all know that the developed nations of the world are advanced because of their scientific knowledge and technological know-how. The government under the leadership of our dynamic Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji firmly believes that science and technology is the bedrock upon which the country relies for its knowledge power, enterprises rely for their success, and the people rely for a better life. The government is therefore fully committed to promote science with a human face that serves the common man and promotes equitable and sustainable development for the country. India recognizes that science and technology will be the enabling tool to meet the unmet needs of the society and address the global challenges that we all face. We therefore need to leverage more on science and technology to bridge disparities between urban and rural divide with focus on affordable technologies for inclusive development, economic growth and employment generation. This is a common aspiration and need for all of us here. We also believe that for Indian science to be globally competitive, India needs to effectively leverage international collaborations. Excellencies, my ministries of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences are actively cooperating with 44 countries across the globe. The present cooperation in science and technology is driven by a sense of mutual trust and purpose in achieving together high quality and high impact research partnerships. This cooperation extends to capacity building in the academic research arena as well, in order to create an ecosystem of fundamental research as a pathway for technology development and innovation. Our R&D and academic institutions need to be more globally connected to understand and incorporate the best practices anywhere in the world. Leapfrogging pitfalls through our collective learnings and experiences. Importantly, though, through our international and bilateral collaborations, India has now started to address together societal grand challenges using the tools of technology and innovation. Today, our scientists are collaborating internationally on wide spectrum ranging from basic sciences to mega science discovery programs, trying to invent new vaccines for Zika, tuberculosis, malaria and dengue, inventing new smart materials solutions for clean energy and climate change mitigation, trying to improve crop productivity, studying the water cycle and weather forecasting including monsoon forecasting and natural disaster prediction and management, as well as developing artificial intelligence based solutions. New collaborative R&D programs on antimicrobial resistance, cancer research and agriculture for food security have also been launched in partnership with both the developed as well as the developing world. Ladies and gentlemen, we recognize that in order to build research excellence and competence, we need to harness, attract, and provide opportunities to the best brains in our countries. We have to motivate more younger people to take up scientific research as career choice. This is a challenge not only for all of us, but is a problem faced around the world. In countries we have an even greater challenge. The world is looking at us as a supplier and source of these young, bright minds and fertile brains. While we have to focus on attracting best people for science, but at the same time, our cooperation also has to include science for the benefit of our people. In other words, we need to connect the discovery science to solution science by taking the research out from the laboratory to the people, society, and the market. This is the need of the hour. Science, technology, and innovation for the people is the new paradigm of the Indian science and technology enterprise. Any country's global competitiveness will be determined by the extent to which the STI enterprise contributes social good and for and economic wealth. The national STI system must therefore recognize the society citizen as its major stakeholder. It not only encourages scientists to develop scientific problems addressing common societal needs and also allows all citizens of the country to become scientists. In recent few years, one of the prestigious Padam Shri Award in Science and Engineering was given to some of the grassroots innovators. One of the award winner of 2017 is Chinta Kindi Melesham, a handloom weaver innovator of ASU machine which process yarn mechanically. He invented this machine to make life easier for his mother. He has seen his mother working hard for hours to wind meters of silk yarn on a large frame. This process of winding is called ASU and used to make famous Pochampalli saris in Telangana. Now this machine has made life easier for thousands of weavers of that area. It is one of the steps of the Government of India towards promoting innovations addressing societal challenges. This narration is also a response to those who complain lack of appropriate infrastructure for pursuing quality research. I do not dilute the importance of high quality precision science. Excellencies, you will be visiting Vigyan Samagam exhibition in Science City, which shows India's involvement in various global mega science projects. But I want to stress on science and technology for society science to help our brotherhood improve economic conditions and our living standards at an affordable cost. India has always believed in sharing technology with countries facing similar developmental challenges. Going forward, I believe that our cooperation should now start focusing on providing scientific and technological solutions to meet the unmet needs of the common man. The father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, believed that appropriate technology could provide the ways and means for human emancipation from drudgery and poverty. In the last few years, we have been successful in launching such programs with Africa. In this year only, we have announced a new program on technology transfer and commercialization with my counterpart Minister for Science and Technology, Ethiopia. Such programs are aimed towards co-development of products through value addition, validation through product deployment and market-ready technology transfer with a focus on affordability. We can effectively share open source technologies and ensure IPR protection of our traditional knowledge, including agricultural practices. Effectively develop affordable, accessible, and available solution of great social impact and relevance. At a bilateral level, India has successfully launched industrial and innovation R&D program with several advanced countries around the globe. We can certainly share our experiences and learning in the deployment of science and technology for addressing common sustainable developmental challenges in our region. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to emphasize that for our neighborhood countries including Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand and Vietnam, a unique model of need-based entity to entity cooperation has been judicially adopted. This has been done with the defining perspective to jointly address national needs of these countries through S&T enabled cooperation. For example, with Vietnam, a project on leather research and tannery waste treatment, twinning with Bangladesh Institute of Biotechnology, faculty development in complete sciences in Myanmar, urban mapping project using geospatial information system for Thailand, and capacity building of universities in Sri Lanka are being sagaciously implemented. Thus, scientific and technological strength and compatibility has been judiciously harnessed to establish a win-win cooperation model. As part of our neighborhood first policy, we have also launched a fellowship, India Science and Technology Fellowships, to invite young postdoctoral candidates from our friendly neighboring countries to work in India on short-term research projects. We have extended similar fellowships to young researchers in ASEAN region and in Africa. With several European and American nations, including United Kingdom, we have strong R&D cooperation in different scientific strands. With Korea, for the first time, we are experimenting by developing product-oriented industry-led research cooperation in partnerships of science and technology and commerce or trade ministries on both the sides. Today's conclave has provided us an opportunity to hear from our distinguished guests how they are making the science and technology an effective tool for socio-economic development of their respective countries. This will help us to charter a roadmap of cooperation for our own countries and with India on a bilateral level that can foster research, education, and innovation partnerships. A science and technology partnership through which we should be able to touch the lives of our people, develop human capacity and excellence, which in turn can contribute to the knowledge economy of our countries. Thank you, friends, and thanks all of you for this patient participation in this very important opening session. In the morning, we had I had the privilege to start the Science Expo. I think there's a great demonstration of the scientific achievements of our various scientific departments, and you'll be able to feel the level of high quality synergy that has been developed amongst the various departments and also the scientific community of this country. I would like all of you to visit the Science Expo also and spend some good quality time there, and then once again inviting you for the inaugural session which is going to happen at 4 o'clock with the blessings of our Prime Minister. I'm sure all of you will participate in that. Thank you. Thanks once again. Jai Hind.